Well, hence again, your friendly local constitutional troop in California. And I want to talk about a very important, very misunderstood subject. And if you've seen a lot of my videos, I say this implicitly, and I'm going to say it openly now. Yes, I'm a white supremacist, no question about it. But that's consistent with the original intent of those racist framers of the Constitution. And and they're the ones that created this Constitution to ensure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. But that's the winning issue, because if we get it back, uh, and we will be the sovereign body politic. And take close notice here, there isn't one of those in existence today anywhere in sight. And that's what we need. And we can go back and do it right. And there are ways to add to the sovereign body politic. We'll talk more about that later. I may not live long enough to see that. I would have a question about that to myself, though. What if we're wrong? But the big deal is we get back. Now Africans and Asians have creator endowed inalienable rights, particularly the right to trial by jury according to the course of the common law, and habeas corpus, the great writ of liberty. It goes all the way back to Magna Carta in 1215, and lots of other rights too that inure to inhabitants of states. So that's a far better situation to be in, and much safer, and everyone's going to know it because they'll be teaching it in schools. So now you get qualified jurors to get on juries if you happen to have occasion to be before one, civilly or criminally, and they'll know they can rule on the facts and the law. That's a big game changer, but it's what we have the power to do. It's a principal and agent relationship. The problem today is the New York bankers have it set up so it looks like Guardian and Ward, Inc., otherwise known as master and slave. So you Africans and Asians haven't come uh, far at all from 220 years ago when it was overtly that way. It still is, but they're not letting you in on the secret yet. That's what I'm trying to do now and tell you what the winning argument is. And we all pull together here and work together. We can make this happen. We have a window of opportunity. It hasn't been there in 150 years, especially with the current justices of the Supreme Court finally doing their job in the last 5 years. And I'm looking forward to getting some younger justices on the court, maybe at the end of the term here in June. We'll see about that. But that said, this is the way to go and to make it right for all of us. Wow, that's a lot to say, but it's true and it will work. By the way, to learn more, send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com, and I will tell you more about what I'm doing, how to get my modestly priced materials, and you can teach your children and your posterity what the truth really is here. And it's oddly enough, it's going to make sense. It didn't jump right out at me either 25 odd years ago when I seriously started out here. But I got to the day once I sat there and I said, this can't be right. And yet it's all there. And the New York bankers know it. And they know that we are arch enemies with the financial interests of New York, among other people. And we want to get them off our backs. And I may know more about that money issue than anybody, maybe anybody ever. And off the top of my head, for the most part, it's just a gift that I have. I don't know, a creator endowed gift that I've been blessed with, and I've dedicated my whole life to it. And to that end, by the way, I'm looking for supporters here, for to help me get my work out, and that would be very useful with some investment capital, and where I can learn how to get out there and make much better videos, especially for use with children, and explain to them, what the real law is in homeschool videos, so they'll know what the truth is and not be misled by the mandatory public education system. So that'll be very useful and potentially big, especially with younger justices on the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, all these official actors we're going to learn have committed multiple acts of treason when they're in Article 2 executive administrative tribunals, not Article 3 judicial courts to which we have the right from day one. They don't want you to know that, but we have it. And with acts of treason, and that's the Supreme Court saying it, Cohen v. Virginia, that the court must exercise jurisdiction if it has it. It can't exercise jurisdiction if it doesn't. But one or the other would be treason to the Constitution. And that's going to generate some big paydays here, because they want to get out from under and not be up in that being exposed to cell 2455 and San Quentin on death row. And I'll be very generous with anyone who helps me here, with the amounts to pay off for the loans that you make me here. It's going to be a great thing. It really is. And that's what's exciting. It's going to be so much good. And that's why we beat them, because we're not there for the money. And if I ever see a jury, and I'm never going to be allowed to see one, juries are going to get that in about 90 seconds. We're not there for the money. We want to do the right thing for them, for their children, their posterity. That's how good this is. So that said, send me an email for more information, humanincourt@gmail.com. Make sure to subscribe, tell your friends, get the word out. The quicker we take action, the quicker we get these bastards off our backs. Thank you.